So in this session, what we'll be looking through is we will go through the basics of Python. Okay, I think many of you may be familiar with the language, but even then we should know what are the basics, what are the things in it, and how do we use it. As we all know, it is very popular nowadays. Not only nowadays, actually, it has been popular from very long. But the thing was, it was not able to capture like what it is called the usage scenario, like where to use it. It is a very good language, but where to use it? So slowly what has come is we have small applications, like we have embedded systems. Again, we have a lot of applications where we need faster output, isn't it? And nowadays we have data science, machine learning, all those things. In so many things, this Python is used, isn't it? I'm not saying it is having like 100% use in all places, but it is having a lot of uses nowadays, right? Okay, so what we will go to we are going to see now is in today's session we'll not see too much things, but basic introduction about the language, when it how it is used, how it is compiled, it is interpreted, it is an interpreted language or a compiled language. All those things we'll see. How to run the code. Hmm? What are the things we should be careful, we should be alert or aware while writing the code, what mistakes we should avoid, all those things we'll see. Okay, so now this Python, as we know, it has a, how does the Python symbol look like? Is it a Python? Python is a Python logo is a snake kind of thing. It looks like two snakes, right? Okay. So this Python is a language. It is a complete programming language. Okay. It is not like HTML. HTML is not known as a programming language. It is a markup language. Okay. So this Python was introduced very long ago. Like it had its starting in the language started in 1980s, but slowly it took a lot of time to become a full-fledged language. Earlier it had some basic syntax and all, but slowly, like 1990, 1991, it took full form. It came to form at early 90s. Okay. Okay. Then it was started used by people. Okay. Now, who invented this thing? This was invented by a Dutch programmer. Dutch programmer named Guido van Rossum. Okay. He was the person who Guido van, or we can directly write Python and we will get here. So I'm getting a lot of noise. Okay. So it was created by Guido van Rossum. He was a Dutch scientist. Okay, fine. So let us not go into much of its history. So what happens? Why is Python so different from other languages? Sorry. Okay, it is having very simple syntax. Anything else? People say that it is very fast, it is very easy to learn, it is very having less syntax. Okay, but how much of that is true? We have to know all those things. Okay, okay, fine. If we say it is a very fast programming language, it processes very fast, I don't think that is true. Okay, if I write speed comparison of programming languages in Google. Okay, if I go to some, lot of people have done some research, but in this, what I can see is we have C++ as the fastest languages that we have today. Okay, where does this image is not very good, but if you see slowly, you will get here Java, you'll get JavaScript, you'll get JavaScript, NodeJS, Bun, and all those. Then comes Python. So we cannot say that it is a very fast language or something. Okay, okay, it it is a good language, but we cannot say that it is a very fast language. We cannot compare it with C++ or Java. Okay, it is not very fast, but why is it good then? So there comes a term called interpreted language. What is the meaning of interpreted? What is the opposite of interpreted language? We have something called compiled language. There are different languages, programming languages. We have C, C++, Java. These are all compiled languages. What is the meaning of compilation? They are certain, these are certain programming languages which cannot be understood by our machine. Okay, what we need to do is we have to first convert the code into machine understandable code. That's what books say. But what is the meaning of that? That is written in some other language. We have to translate that code into a language which our system will understand. Only then it can run the code, isn't it? So in that aspect, Python is different from other compiled languages. Nowadays we have a lot of interpreted language. Okay, I'm not saying Python is the only interpreted language, but how is it different from the conventional languages? The most common languages what people use are C, C++, Java, JavaScript, isn't it? These are the most commonly used. C Sharp is there. Okay, so these are all compiled languages. Now let us understand what is the difference between this compiled and interpreted language. Compiled languages need to be compiled. That means we need a compiler that will translate the code into some binary code or something which will be understood by our system. Okay, but what happens in interpreted language? We don't have a compiler. So overall, that program or the running environment will be less. When we need a compiler, it is like I have a what it is called. I have a phone with an adapter, with a charger. I have a laptop with a charger, isn't it? Because why my laptop I cannot connect directly to our plug port, because that is 240 volts and that is AC, alternating current. I cannot directly connect it to that. My laptop needs a 12-volt DC current, direct current, isn't it? So I'm having some separate thing which is translating that current in that voltage into this voltage and giving to me. So it is a heavy package. But if my laptop can directly run on that power, then I don't need that, right? So that is how compiled language and interpreted language will have. Compiled languages need a compiler alongside whatever we write. Whatever we write, we need a compiler to compile it and then we run it. First we compile, then run. But interpreted language directly can be done. Okay. Okay. Now let us take a small example where we will understand this. I got it. What I have. I hope you got what I said. But what is the meaning? What is happening in that compilation? And why? How some systems are directly able to run the code? So let us take a small example. Let's say we have seen in some movies, right? They have some, even in Telugu movies it is there, even in English movies it is there. They go for some what it is called, they find some old piece of paper where some about they have some clue about some treasure. Somewhere some gold is there, and there some, in some very old language it is written. Can we understand what is that? No. But they keep on, what they try to do is they keep on trying to solve the problem whatever is there, and then they try to do something. isn't it? So let's say I have got something like this, okay, somewhere, and it is written in some very old language, which I can't understand. See, there are two possibilities. It can be written in a very old language, or maybe it is letters, but I am not able to understand what these letters mean. G, R, B, R, X, O, L, N, 5. How do I understand? What is the meaning of that? That means it is a secret code or something, isn't it? So in this scenario, what do? I have two options. First option. First option, what I will do is I'll bring a person who knows this language. I will bring a person who knows this language. And what he will do is he will say, okay, wait for some time. Let me write this whole thing in English because I can understand English. No? That person can understand English as well as this language. So what he will do, he will come, he will translate all the things into English on a piece of paper, and then he will give me that paper. But I have to wait for some time because he needs to crack the whole thing, right? He has to translate the whole thing, and then he will write everything, and then he will give me the paper. Now what I will do, I will use this paper. All the English instructions are written, step 1, step 2. Now I will do whatever the instructions are there, right? This is one way. This is known as compilation. Here what is happening, the person is asking me to wait for some time. He is doing all the translation, then he is giving. This is one possibility. Next possibility, what I can do is that person, he knows this language. What he will do is he will not write whole things and tell me. What he will do, first instruction, he will translate into English and he will tell me, and I will execute it. I will do the work. He will say, okay, first go to JNTU signal. First instruction is go to JNTU signal. So I will go there. Then what he will do? He will translate the second line of the instruction. Second line is also written in some other language. Again, second line he will translate to English, and then he will tell me. So here what is happening? Here, line by line, translation and execution is happening, right? This is known as interpretation. This is not compilation. In compilation, what happens is the entire code is compiled to a understandable language. Then we run the code. Okay. So C, C++, Java, C Sharp, these all work in compilation process, not in interpretation. So interpretation process, what happens? It is little bit fast. Let us see. The slow fast we will come to know now. Okay, what is the difference? Now, what is happening in the compiled language? First, the code is compiled to a understandable language, right? In this process, what is happening? I told in the beginning that that person told me, please wait. So I have to wait for some time. After that, I will work very fast. After that, everything will be in English. So I'll work very fast. But I have to wait for some time for the compilation phase to end, right? So these compiled languages will have a very long compilation time, but execution time will be very fast because execution in the execution time, I got the instructions in English. So I know what to do. I'll do very fast. If I'm fast, I'll do it very fast. No? So how will I define if I'm fast? It all depends on the processor. If the processor is fast, execution will be fast. But compilation, to it will be done by compiler. It doesn't care what is your processor or something, right? So it will take some, but it will take some time in the compilation. Execution will be fast. What about interpreted language? I don't need to wait. There is no compilation phase. First thing, I don't need to wait, but he will say one line in English and then I will do it. Again, he will say another line in English. Again, I will do it. So this execution process itself will become long. It will be very slow. Execution will be slow as compared to compiled languages. Because in compiled languages, I directly have the translated code at some point. I have to wait in the beginning, but I will have it at some point, isn't it? So at that point, I'll run very fast. So both languages are having their pros and cons. Okay, we cannot say this is good, this is bad. Okay, but if the interpretation, if somehow, if we can do one line translation fast, then somehow you can say that interpreted language may be faster than compiled language, but not always. Okay, so this way Python will be working. Even JavaScript was working like that up to some years. But nowadays there are something called JIT compiler, just in time compiler. So nowadays we have changed the definition of JavaScript. JavaScript is a compiled language. It is also compiled in the browser. It is called just in time. It is like interpretation, but it is compiled. Okay. So this way JavaScript language is different. So let us now come back to Python. So these are the difference between compiled language and the interpreted. So slow, fast, these things will be there. Okay. Now we can move on to our Python installation. Now what we need to do, we have to install Python. When we install Python, what will happen? Actually, we are not installing Python. Python is a language which I will type. Okay. We are actually installing the interpreter, that machine. That person, I need that person, na? As I told you, that who will translate the language. So that interpreter I have to install. Once I install it, whatever I write, it will line by line, it will translate and run the code. Okay. Now let us see how can we install this. So one way is you directly go to Python official website, and then you will get something like pydocs.python.org. If I go here, oh, sorry, not docs. It is going to documentation. Python, only Python. So python.org. When I go to python.org, downloads, and this is the latest one, 3.12.1. Okay. Just download this. I have already downloaded it, so I will not download it again. Download it. After downloading, it is just a setup. You press on install, next, 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 over. Okay. Okay. Fine. But here, uh, just a small thing I want to tell you. When I install this, just okay. So I have already installed it, so that's why it is showing like that. Okay, fine. So that next will work. There is no problem. Okay, fine. So this is one of the way how you can install the Python interpreter. Another way, people even can go for some other things, like if I go to Microsoft Store. In Microsoft Store also, you will get the Python interpreter. Okay. They don't say it is an interpreter, but when I type this Python, if I write Python, what do I get here? I'm getting Python 3.11, 3.10, 3.9, 3.7. So many are there. Which one do I want? 3.12. Okay. So these are all old interpreters. It's not like it will not work. It will definitely work, but it may not have the newest features. Okay. So what I'll go with Python 3.12. What is written here? The Python 3.12 interpreter and runtime. What is the meaning of runtime? It is the environment. It will be helping us to write the Python code. If I don't have the runtime, what will happen? If I install it, if I will not get some suggestions like something dot, after that it will not give us suggestions. Okay, so that's why we need the runtime as well as the interpreter. Please mute yourself. Okay, so once you install it, what will happen? You will be able to see when you type here Python, you will see something like this. Okay, and some more things, like if I show you in my apps, something like this one is coming because of the Microsoft Store. Okay, Microsoft Store will give you only one application, but when you install from python.org, you will have a folder like this, Python 3.12. For ignore these two things, these are old. These things I installed like 4 or 5 months ago. That's why those things are there. Now I showed you two ways, right? In the two ways, you will get two things. First thing is this one for Microsoft Store, and this is the same thing. So here, Actually, these both are same. There is no difference. The only thing is whatever I download from browser, that is a Python website, is having some extra things. What are those extra things? They're having a documentation as well. You can read the documentation there. But okay, documentation we can read from the website also, right? So ultimately both are having the interpreter. Okay. This interpreter, you can either click and run, or you can, what it helps us, you can we have our command prompt in our system, isn't it? You can convert your command prompt into a Python shell. Okay, what this interpreter is doing, if I click on this interpreter, it is directly opening the Python shell. Here I can start typing Python. Okay, suppose you are not able to find out where this is, you can directly convert your default command prompt into, because here if I write 1 plus 2, it will not work, right? 1 plus 2 is not recognized. But if I write 1 plus 2 in the Python shell, it will give me 3, isn't it? So how different, in different ways we can use the Python interpreter. So here we are directly able to write the code, isn't it? Hmm? And here I have to convert this command prompt into Python shell. Now what do I do? Which Python version I uh, installed? 3.2, 3.12. So let me write Python 3.12. Okay, and press enter. It converted to Python shell. Now here CMD command prompt commands will not run. Okay, here now I have converted the command prompt into Python shell. Okay, but don't you think this is a very long word? Python 3.12. If I type, let's say, if I type here Python 3.11, it will open 3.11 shell because that is also installed, isn't it? So why to do all these things? Can we make it shorter? We can go for something like only Python also. If I type Python, then also it works. But it is showing me old one. I have to see why that is happening, but it will work. Okay. Then if you think, no, this is also very long, I want more shorter syntax. What you can do? You can just run py, enough. Okay. So it saw three things: Python 3.12, that means Python version is also working, only Python word is also working, py is also working. Okay. So sorry, yes, it is also showing. Python 3.12 is giving us totally correct one only. Only Python is giving, as I told you already, I told you, Python is giving us the wrong version. I have to see why it is happening. But that Python command is also totally valid. Okay, I should not install so many versions in my system. Python, why do I need? When I install a language, I should have only one language. Okay, one version. So go with one. Okay, so this is how we can use the directly use our Python interpreter, or we can convert the CMD into this. Okay, now here what code we can run? Let me go to now the default Python interpreter that I have. Okay, the same thing will happen if I go for command prompt and convert it. Okay, now here I can do basic mathematics, so it will work like a calculator. Okay, 2032 into 5, assuming 160. Okay, these are all fine. Then what else can be done? So these are very basic, what it is called, basic calculations. Let me do something like 4 by 2. Again, 4 by 2 is not giving me 2, it is giving a 2.0. What is this known as? This is known as a floating point number. Okay, so this division, whatever I am doing, 4/2, this is known as classical division. What it is known as? It is known as classical division. So classical division in Python will always give us a floating point number. Okay, so for that I can go with this. This is known as floor division. FLOOR, floor division. If I do this, I get only the integer part. not the decimal part. Okay. Okay. So like this, I can do basic mathematical calculations, or else I can go for advanced coding also. Let's say if I write here a if condition. Do you know an if condition in languages we have? So let's say if 2 less than 3. See the syntax? It is little bit different from other languages. 2 less than 3 and I press enter. What happened? We can see here 3 arrow marks were there. When I press enter here, that 3 marks instead of that 3 dots are coming. Why? Because it is expecting something from us. If 2 less than 3, then what to do? Okay. So I will write something like print something like hello. Okay. And what it is saying? Print is not working. Okay. Yes, indentation is needed. Now see. So after if I have to give an indentation by pressing tab. Okay. So here what is happening? Indentation is very much important. Indentation may not be important in other languages. Okay. In some languages, it is very, very important. Okay. Now I have to write print hello, and expected again. Didn't give the okay. Let me type it. Print hello. Okay. Fine. What happened? Maybe it is not printing the output. One more time, because so what happens is we need an indentation and also one line break. That is a extra enter I have to press in Python. Otherwise, how will Python know where the if statement is ending? In our normal languages, C++, Java, JavaScript, we have curly braces. If will start from curly brace, end at curly brace. But here there is no curly brace. Here the syntaxes are so compressed, compact. It doesn't know where to end. So we have to end it. Okay. So these are just basic things what we can do in the compiler. Sorry, interpreter. Now, what is the problem with this interpreter? The code, whatever I am writing, is it getting saved somewhere? It is not getting saved. Whatever I am writing here, it is gone. So what should be done? We should write code where? Where should we write the code? We should write code in files, and we should run that file separately. Okay, not like this. If I write code like this is not saved anywhere, isn't it? So I have to create a file. Which file I have to run in the interpreter so that it will give us the output, and we can run that file at any time. Today I run the files. Tomorrow, if the file is saved, I can run it tomorrow also, isn't it? So we have to go something like that. Now here some more things I want to show you. Like we have 3. I wrote 3 and I write 6 plus. I want to bring that previous 3, not a new 3. Then what do? I can use a underscore. This underscore in Python stores the previous value. Okay. So 6 plus 3 is 9. I got 9. That underscore is storing the previous value. Let's say I have HE and I wrote underscore plus LLO. What will happen? Underscore contains previous value. So hello will be print. Okay. So this is don't want to much work on this interpreter. I want to directly jump to files and I want to run it there. Okay, because this is not helping me in any way. This code is gone. After I close this, it will be gone, isn't it? Okay. Now when I close this, how do I close this? I can directly close it from here. That means my laptop is running. I am doing some work. I can directly press the close power button, press and hold. But is it the correct way? No. I should turn off all the things inside it. So what I can do here is, here a command is there, quit and parenthesis. Okay. Press enter. It will go. Okay. This quit is behaving like this in the interpreter. Suppose if I'm running the command prompt, what will happen here? Suppose using py, I converted the what it is called, command prompt to Python interpreter. Okay, I did some maths and then I want to quit now. So QUIT will actually quit from the Python interpreter, not from command prompt. Okay, so now it has come back to command prompt mode. Okay, now it is not in Python mode. Okay. Okay, now let us move on to what it is called creating files. Okay, so let us see now. So what do I do? So whatever we are doing in other languages, same thing we will do. Okay, fine. So let me take a folder. I'll take a folder here itself. Take a folder here. Let me write Python and I'll just what editor we are using till now? Have you used VS Code till now? Visual Studio Code? Not used. Okay. So what you can do is, see, to write the code we need an editor. Okay, to write any kind of programming language we need an editor. So there are a lot of editors in for Python. Okay, we have something called PyCharm. We have lot of editors are there. So if I search here, so these editors are known as IDE for Python. If I search like this, I have so many softwares where I can write code. It is not like I have to write only in these things. I can write in Notepad also. There is no problem. But these will give you additional features. This will tell you that you have missed indentation, you have missed next line. So those things, this will tell us. So you can start using all these things. So your wish, whatever you want to do. So in my system, I already have Visual Studio Code installed. So I will go with that. So how to do all those things? When if you want a PyCharm, you just go to you search PyCharm and go to that website and download it. Okay, it will give you PyCharm. If you want Visual Studio Code, you go to Visual Studio Code. It is Microsoft product. You download for Windows, install it, next, over. Small application, not a very big application. Okay. Once you download, it will look something like those are, it will look something like this. Okay. When you install the Visual Studio Code, it will look like this. Now, what I want to do is this Visual Studio Code is by default opening something. See, this is actually opening the C drive, but I don't want to run that C drive. I don't want to open the C drive in my Visual Studio Code. What do I want to run? What do I want to open? This folder, what I created. Inside this folder, I want to create new files using that Visual Studio Code, right? So what do? I open this folder and I go to the address bar. Okay, I type here CMD. What it will do? It will open the command prompt CMD and then I just type CODE space dot. Okay, CODE space dot. Code means Visual Studio Code and space dot. I press enter and it will open the Visual Studio Code for this folder. So it is opening it inside this folder. Inside this folder, did I create any files previously? No. So that's why nothing is shown. So let me create a file. That's it. And what will be the file name? Dot. It will have an extension like .py. Okay. So let me create it like one.py. Small name. Why do I suggest you to give smaller names? Because if it is a big name, while running, you have to type the whole name. Okay, that's why I will go with small names. If it is like a small topic like numbers, I'll give numbers.py, not a big name. Python practice numbers, I'll not write like that. It will be hard for me to run. Okay. Now I have written one.py. Immediately this symbol is coming, right? Python symbol is coming. Visual Studio Code is able to recognize that this is a Python file. Okay. Up to here it is okay. Now I write some code. What do I write? I'll write the same code what I was writing there. 1 plus 2 I wrote. Then I print something like in the print I can print hello. Something like this. Okay. Then okay. Only I wrote like this. Now how do I run this file? You have to, we need again the interpreter, isn't it? So if I open the interpreter, what I have to do is when I open this interpreter like this py, what I have to do is I have to write the path of this file. Whole path I have to write. I have to write one command and then I have to write whole path and then I have to run it. But do I know the path of this file? So the path of this file may be different. This path is C users dhrit OneDrive desktop python /1.py. This is a long name, isn't it? Instead, what I will do is I will do something different. Just see. Instead of writing the full path every time, because whenever I'm opening that interpreter, it is actually opening in C drive. Why not I open the interpreter in this folder, isn't it? That terminal or that Python shell, if I open in this folder, I don't need to put the whole path. I just write only the file name, one.py. That's it. Okay. So for that, I just press Control J and one terminal will open. Okay. This can be done from here also. Or where do I do that? Terminal, new terminal. Terminal option is there, new terminal. So new terminal, when I open it, this thing will come. Okay. Now this terminal, it is showing as CMD at the top, but all Python commands will work now. Okay. Again, this thing will work when you install through Microsoft Store. Okay. So I will recommend you to go through the Microsoft Store process. Okay. Or else you do both, then also there is no problem. Ultimately, it will override, isn't it? Both the versions are same, 3.12, 3.12, no problem. Okay. So here, what do? I just write py space and a file name. What is the file name? One.py and press enter. I got hello. I didn't get 1 plus 2. Why? Because we didn't print it. 1 plus 2 I did, but I didn't print it, isn't it? That's why I'm not getting the output. So in this terminal, what you will get is you will get only the things that you print. In the interpreter, you are getting everything, right? 1 plus 2 also you are getting, 3 plus 5 also you are getting, underscore plus 5 also you are getting. Okay. And here that underscore will not work. Underscore will work only in the interpreter. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now now we can start working. We have the code editor with us. We have the output window also with us. The output window is known as a terminal, and this code editor is known as a IDE, for which we are using Visual Studio Code. Okay. Now we can write anything. So before writing, we need to know the grammar of this language. What do you mean by grammar? To speak in English, we need to know the grammar. What is first person, what is second person? In the same way, we need to know the grammar. That means the syntax, the words, what is to be used, when to use what, when not to use what, isn't it? Okay. So I'll say start from all those. So here what I'm doing, here I'm using this. These are called data. One is a data, two is also data. This hello is also data. Okay. This data we have to store somewhere. This data we store in something called variable. And these data are of different types. Some things are numbers, some things are within double quote, isn't it? These are letters. Something may be more different, isn't it? So data will be of different type, but whatever type it is, we have to store it in a variable. Okay, fine. So let us start with variables. What is a variable? A variable is called as an identifier. Okay, what do I write? Here in other languages, have you gone through any other language earlier? Anyone? Like C, C++ or something? Have you seen those languages? There they use some, before putting the variable, they use some keyword. They write something like int x equal to 10. Like they write a char C equal to hello or char C equal to A. They write something. So those things are not there in Python. Python is, as I said, it is a very less in syntax. Okay. So because of this less syntax, what happens is we are writing less, but that doesn't mean that less execution is happening. When I write this much of small thing inside the interpreter, it is doing a big thing only. Okay. For C, C++ to write one if else, to run one if else, whatever process they are following here also they will follow the same process. Only thing is the code is less so that users, it is more user friendly. Okay, it is having a very, what it is called, the learning curve is very good here. Okay, okay, so it is easy to learn. So let me now write. So here I directly use the variable name. So let's say uh, address is equal to Hyderabad. What did I do here? Address equal to Hyderabad. I am creating a variable called address. Its name is address. And in that address variable, I am storing some text. Okay. I'm not saying what is it called. I'm using the word text for the time being. That text I'm storing it in a variable called address. Okay. Then age. I can create an age. Age should store what? Should it store text? It should show some number like 35. Right? 35 is an age. I'm storing it in age. Okay. So this left hand side is known as variable. The right hand side is the data. Now this data we have seen here, it is of different types. So this type of data is known as number, isn't it? So, and in what it is called, in other languages, they have something like int, float, something like that, integers and floating point integers. Here, there is nothing like that. It is there, but we don't show it. Inside it, it is definitely there. Int is there, float is there, but we don't even tell what is this age. I can write age equal to now something high also. It will not show me any error. Okay, we can store any data in that variable. Same variable, I'm storing high now. Okay, so this way, what happens is this is a of type number, and this again, this and this are looking different, isn't it? They are either they are called text or strings. Okay, this text or strings we have to write within quotes. It may be single quote, it may be double quote. Both are totally correct. So let's say I put single quote like this. This is also totally correct. Okay, so we have seen numbers and strings. So let us not discuss too much today. We'll discuss only about numbers and strings. Okay, now let us see the numbers first. So let's say NUM is equal to 12, or let me take A as a variable, A equal to 10 and B equal to 20. Okay, we have variables, we have data, and data type is number. How do I know what is the data type of this? What I can do is I can print the data type, print type, and then I have to pass A. Okay, it will not directly tell me the data type, it will tell me what it is. See how it will come. So now I will run the file py1.py. I got class int. Always it will come in a bracket. This is angle bracket. These are known as angle bracket. In angle bracket, class word will be there. Then the data type will be there. It is of type int. So let's say if I make it a 10.45, what does it give us? Is it still giving us int? It is giving us float. Okay. Then let us see if I put instead of 10.45, if I write hello, what it will give us? It is giving str. Str means string. Okay. This way I can check the data type. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now let us come back to again numbers. So what I can do with these numbers? So these numbers are okay, but if I want to do some addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, we need operators. We need something called operators. So these are when we are doing mathematical operations, those are known as arithmetic operators. Okay, so let us do something like, let us write some lines. A plus B, what will this give us? A plus B is giving me 30. Then A minus B is giving me minus 10. 10 minus 20 is minus 10. Then how do you do multiplication? We put a star. Star is the multiplication operator. Okay. So this way we can do 10 into 20 is giving me 200. Then A divided by B. So in the beginning, we saw that when we do classical division, we get the answer as a floating point integer, a floating point number, not as a integer. So what I will get 10 by 20. If I do what I should get 0.5. Then if I do B by A, what I will get 2.0 because it is a float. Okay. Okay. Now when I do B by A, I don't want this decimal part. I already know that it is complete division will happen and I don't want the decimal part. Then what do I do? This is the classical division. I have to go for floor division. So what do I do? B double slash A. So let me write both of them. Okay. A double slash B and B double slash A. B double slash A. So what will the first one give us? A double slash B means 10 by 20 is 0.5. If I remove the 0.5, I'll get 0. And B double slash A should give us 20 by 10 is 2.0. I should get 2. So first answer should give us 0. Second answer should give us 2, right? Okay. Let us see. Are we getting what we want? Yes. 0 and 2. Fine. Okay. Then what is there? Plus, minus, multiplication, division. Then there is something called a percent operator, A percent B, or it is also known as modulus. What it will do? It will give us the remainder. When I divide A by B, what is the remainder? So let me close this. Okay. So when I divide A by B, what will happen? 10 divided by 20. 20 0 is 0. And then what will happen when I divide 10 by 20? What will be the remainder? 10. When I divide 10 by 20, 20 0 is 0 and remainder will be 10. So I'll get 10 in this case. Let us see. So I'm getting 10. Okay. If I do B modulus A, what do I get? B modulus A is 20 by 10 is giving us remainder as 0, right? Okay, fine. So these are the basic mathematical operations. We have also exponent, power, 2 to the power 3, 3 to the power 4, isn't it? So let us do something like that. So print, if I do A power B, it will be a very big number. So let us take a small number. 2 power is given using double star. Okay, 2 double star 3. This is known as the exponent operator. So it will give us 2 cube. 2 cube means 8. So when I run this code, I get 8. Okay. So these are the most basic. More operators are there, but these are the most things we will use. Even the power also we will not much use in our daily cases, right? We need the plus, minus, multiplication, this classical division, this floor division, and the remainder, that is the modulus. These are the most things we need, okay, in real-time scenarios. Other than that, we don't need much things. Okay. So this is all about the numbers and what we can do with the numbers. Okay. Now, let us say what I'm doing here, these numbers I'm taking from variables, isn't it? I'm directly setting the value in the variable. Let's say I don't want to use it like this. I want to take the uh, values from the user. Okay. Then what do I do? Okay. So for that, I have to go for something else. So let me do something. Let me create another file. Okay. 2.py. 2.py. Okay. Now here, what I want to do is here I have to now, if I run the same code, it will run the old code. 1.py. I have to change it to 2.py. 2.py. Okay. Now it will not give us anything because I have not written. Okay. Now what is the thing is I want to ask the age from the person and I want to print it. Okay, so let us see. I have to, when I ask for the age, the person will give us the age. That age I have to store in some variable and then I print the value. Okay, so let us take a variable age is equal to, here I have to use a method or a thing called input. Input of, what do I write here? Input of enter your age. Enter your age. If I do like this and then print age, let us see what it will give us. Enter your age, it is asking me here. Can you see? So let me type here 50. It is printing 50. Okay. So I can give a colon and space here. Now see, there will be a space. Enter age 45 and it is printing the 45. Okay, fine. But what is happening here is that if I check the type of age, what I will get? I will get the type of this age as a 34 string, but I entered number. It is saying string. Why? Because this input, whenever we are taking some input from the user, this input function is converting that whatever we enter into a string. If I write hello, it is already a string, no problem, it will print hello. So let us see here. If I print hello, okay. So if I print hello and I get, so let me remove this type. So if I put like this and I print hello in the age, I'm getting hello. It is already a string, it is giving it me string. But when I put here a number 23, I'm getting 23. But I, from that output, I cannot say that it is a string or a number. But when I check the type, I can see that it is a, sorry, I didn't save this. So when I run this, I get a string. So how do we do that? We have to convert this, whatever string it has converted, this input, we have to again convert it back to a number. Okay. So for that, what I will do is I will use another function on this that is known as int. Int of input of enter your age. Enter your age will be, I will put number 23, let's say. That 23 will be converted to string by input. Then there is a string 23 that will be converted back to number by int. Okay, int of input of 23. Okay, so now if I first check the age, I will get whatever I put and then I will get the data type. Okay, let us see. So enter your age. I write 55. First I got 55 and next I got, it is of type int. Okay, this is how you have to convert. Now, if I press here, if I write here 45.56 and I press enter, what it is saying? Isn't it? It is not able to do all those things. Invalid return for int with base 10. Okay. So can I use float here? Now let us see. If you know that your value will come in decimals, you should use a float here. 34.56. I'm getting. It is of type float, not int. Okay. So here numbers are of two types. Int and float. Some more are there, like fraction, decimal data types are also there. But these are the most, what it is called, frequently we will use, isn't it? Int and float. Either numbers will be whole numbers or decimal numbers, isn't it? So these two are enough for us. Okay. So this way we can convert. So for age, I don't need a float, right? Age will always be int. Okay, fine. This way I can use it. But if you are asking for a price of the item will be 45.26, isn't it? 45 rupees 26 paisa, something like that. So for that we will use the float. Okay, then so this is all about numbers. And okay, so one more thing I want to use here. So here I am printing the age directly. I am typing 50 and printing it, but I don't want the output like that. I want the output in a different way. If I enter your age, I put 50, the answer, the output should be your age is 50. I want it like that. So what do I do? Here I write print your age is age. If I write like this, what will happen? I will get your age is age, not 50, because this age is considered as a string because it is inside double quote. So if I run this, I just get 34 and I write your age is age. Okay. So for that, we have a small thing that is known as interpolation. Here, if I write like this, I am telling that this is not a string. This is a variable value coming from some outside code. Okay. But still, this interpolation doesn't work. It is saying your age is curly brace age. Okay. So for that, we need to format this string. We have to tell Python that this is not a normal string. Please format this string and then use it. Please check where those curly braces are coming, and whenever curly brace is coming, please consider it as a value and then print the output. Don't directly print it. Okay. So for that, I have to format this. So there is a thing called, I have to put an F here. Now this whole thing is known as an F string or template string interpolation. It is known as, okay, template string interpolation. So when I put this F here, the Python will know now, okay, I should not print this directly. I have to first check wherever curly braces are coming, then I will print it. So now if I do this, what will happen? I get 34 and I write your age is 34. Okay. So I have to put an F and then I put age curly brace. Okay. Okay. So this is about all about numbers. In numbers, this is what we can do. Now let us move on to strings. Okay. I hope this is clear. All are clear. Okay. Fine. Try to practice some basic mathematical what it is called mathematical operations. You will be clear with that. Okay. Fine. Now let us move on to strings. So what do? I create one more file, strings.py. Okay. So what do I write here? Now we will work only on strings, no numbers, no more numbers. Okay. Let us not mix all those things. At last, we will try to mix, but not now. So I have first name is equal to Ravi. Last name is equal to Teja. Okay. Then if I print first name, I am getting first name. Okay. Let me put this at the top. Ah. So what do I write here? Instead of 2.py, strings.py. Okay. So I got Ravi. If I print last name, I get last name. But what do I want to do? I want to join them, isn't it? I have to join them. Strings, we already know what they are doing, but now we have to work on the string operations, isn't it? We have seen the number operations. Now we'll see the string operations. In how many ways what we can do with the strings. Okay. So let us start with basic joining of two words. So what do? Here, I can print something like, first thing, let's say I don't have these two variables. Initially, directly I can print like Ravi, and along with the Ravi, if I put another double quote, okay, this is one string, this is one string. Here I write Teja. What is happening here? I'm in the print, I'm putting two strings, one Ravi, one Teja, both are in quotes. If I print like this, so let me remove these two lines or comment. Okay, I'll come to that comment. So let me save this. Let it be there because these two lines will not print anything, right? These are there. Let it be there. Okay. Now what do I get? I get Ravi Teja together. Okay. If I put a gap here, will it work? Let us see. No, it will not work. It will not consider that gap as a space. Okay, fine. So this putting two strings together is fine. This is not wrong, but this will not help us in what we want, right? Okay. So this way we can put two things. So what about two properties directly? Two variables. We have this first name and last name. Can I put it together like this? Will it work? It will not work. Okay, it is a giving syntax error, invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma. Okay, if I put a comma, it will work. Now it will work. But this is coming as two different things. Okay, it is not joining them. These are two different outputs. I am asking for two different things. That's why it is printing. By seeing the output, you may know, you may feel that it is working totally fine. No, it is actually two values. Okay, so Python cannot join two variables together, but it can join two strings which are placed together. Okay. Okay. Now, if I want to join two variables, what do I need to do? We need to do concatenation. Okay. So for concatenation, we have a operator, that is the plus operator. The plus operator, when we put on strings, when we put on numbers, it will do addition. When we put on strings, it will do concatenation. That means joining the two variables. Okay, two values. Now let us see what I am getting. I am getting Ravi Tej. But if I want to give a space in between, what do I do? I can do something like this. A space and then last name. It will do concatenation. First name is also a string. Second one is what? Empty quotes with a space. That is also a string. Last name is also a string. So this should give us the output. Yes, it is giving. Okay. Or else we can go with that F strings, what we saw. So if I go with F strings, I don't need all these two plus operators. So what I will do, I'll write F, then double quote. Oh, always remember, F is not inside double quote. F is always outside the double quote. F, and then curly brace, first name, space, last name. What will happen now? I'm getting Ravi Tej. If you want to add extra strings, like your full name is, your full name is, first name, last name. Now, this is a proper string. Okay. So if you want to include variables or values inside strings, always use this F string or text interpolation. Okay, fine. Now some more things are there in the strings. Concatenation we have seen. Now we can do some repetition. Let me show you what happens here. Now Python is such a crazy language. It gives us so many new things. I don't know where we may need it. Okay, for repeating strings to I don't need it, but in some scenarios we will need it. So let me write something like 4 into first name. What will happen? You know, the first name will be printed 4 times. That means RAVI, 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 RAVI. See this? Okay. If I write 4 into first name plus last name, what will happen? Or else 4 into F colon curly brace first name space curly brace last name. What will happen now? Raviteja, 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 Raviteja. What did I do? 4 into, and then I use the formatted string, F string, where I put first name space last name. So this will give us something like this. What happened in the initially something happened? Okay. So there is no space in between. So what I can do? I can put a space here. Okay. Now I get something like this. This way you can repeat the things also. So I'm not saying that this you will use in strings. You may use it in some other things also. Let's say you want a password is there. Inside that password, you want to add a 4 zeros in between. So you don't need to concatenate 0, 0, 0, 0. You will concatenate 4 into 0. If you put a 4 into 0 inside one password, automatically 4 zeros will be added to that string, whole string. So these are the real case, real time scenarios. This is not a real time scenario. Why will I print my name 4, 5 times? The real scenario is we will add 0 zeros or XX. We have seen in our messages what is coming. Credit card number or account number is coming as XXX, isn't it? So what do I do? Except the last 4 digits. How many digits are left? 6. So 4 into 6 into X, I will concatenate with last 4 digits. Isn't it easier? To do the same thing in the other languages, you have to do a lot of things. You have to run loops, this, that, lot of code you have to write. But in Python, just 4 into this, 5 into this, 6 into this is enough. Okay. So this is what we can do with strings. Some more things are there with strings, but today only up to here I want to show. One more thing, small new line. We can print a new line. What do we do for that? New line character is there. We put something like this. I think it should work. Let us see. So when I write like this, I get Raviteja, Raviteja, Raviteja. Okay, I don't want everything in one line. So what I'm doing, I'm putting the new line character. So that is also coming in 4 times, isn't it? So this is something like a loop actually. We are not writing a for loop or something, but ultimately that is happening. So this way you can bring it to the next line. Okay. So this is all for today's session. In the next session, we'll be seeing more things. Okay. What more things can we do with string indexing, string splicing, all those things we'll see. Okay. Okay. That's it for this session.